The strange guy sees the gate is locked and thinks that if he forces it in he will trigger the alarm system. After that, he calms down and thinks to go home to find out a way. Suddenly he listens to the voice of Weji and his big brother. The big brother asks Weji, do you want me to push you on the swing? Look at the beautiful clothes you have given to swing, Dad's gonna come back in a while. After listening to him, Weji replies that no, it's hot outside and his brother will get tired. Then she sees her father and her second brother coming and says, look brother, and Baba is coming. Then she runs towards her father and hugs him. After that, Lai Zebai asks her, why didn't you wait for me inside the house? She replies, because I miss Baba so much. Suddenly the second brother sees the strange guy standing behind the gate and thinks, what the hell is this dude doing here? After that, he goes toward him and asks him, what are you doing here? Do you want to fight? He replies, I don't wanna. Suddenly Weiji sees them arguing and thinks, what's all the fuss about? And she looks at the strange guy and thinks, I thought my 3 brothers were already handsome among the boys. But after seeing him today, I know what it's like to be the best. After she looks into his eyes and thinks, I don't know, but I have seen it somewhere. Then she stops her from looking at him because of her, it's rude to look at someone like this. After that, she says his second brother that fighting is wrong. Lai Zebai then asks his son what's going on. After that, second brother thinks that I got beaten when I was doing business. And then he says sorry to him. After that, Weijai stops her father and says he's a good boy. He's even apologizing, so don't scold him. The second brother thinks that it's a shame to lose, but I can't do anything about it. Then Weijai says to his father, let's go home, it's so sunny outside. He says you are right, and takes her inside. Suddenly the strange guy slaps at his stomach. Second asks him what's going on. He replies, just give me a minute. And after that, he gives money to the second brother. The second brother asks him, what's this? He replies, it's the protection fee for 10 years. The second brother thinks that he is rich, and after taking money, he says, let's just say I'm your boss if you pay the protection fee, so become my little brother. The strange guy replies, I'm not your little brother, but I'm the god, and goes away from there. After that, the second brother thinks he is annoying and goes inside the house and shows the money to big brother and Weijai. The big brother asks him, did he really give you all that money? The second brother replies, he's a fool who lives next door. He paid and didn't even think that I might run away. But I have always been a businessman, so I'll be always there for him. After that, the second brother takes the money from his big brother. Big brother says that you can't take it. After this, the second brother says, brother, don't you want to give the money to that lie? That's not true, right? He says his second brother give that money to him. But the second brother says that no, I just got beat up by my dad for taking protection money. And this money I earned to protect my sister. Then he gives the money to Weshi. But she says, I don't want it. Big brother said no, so I don't want it. He asks her, don't you know what money is? And says that you can buy lots of dresses and toys and even lots of candy. Are you sure? She replies, I already know. After listening to that from Weijai, he gives the money to big brother. Then he asks his big brother, why do you even want it? Aren't you going to give the money to dad? He replies that the strange guy clearly knows everything but still gave you money, so he probably has other intentions. And also says, I don't want this money, but we have to find out what he's after. It's the deal between us kids, we will settle it, so don't tell dad. After listening to that, second brother says, you have got a point, but what if dad finds out? Then he goes toward the little sister and says to her that my little sister is a good girl. She is not going to tell Baba, right? She replies, okay. And after that, he gives the chocolate as a sealing fee to his third brother and says to him, this is enough for you. The rest is for my sister. Then the third brother replies, my mouth is sealed. After doing all that, big brother thinks, well, dad is a big money maker. A small business like this won't bother him. Meanwhile, the next day doorbell rings. Weji says, I'll get the door. After that, she opens the door and sees Auntie Zai standing outside the door. Then Zai says hello to Weijai and also say that you boys don't know what girls like. Just nice, there were extra samples from my business partner in the warehouse. I just took it for Weijai. After listening to that, Weijai says thank you to Zai. Then Zai sits on the sofa and asks how's everything. Lai Zebai replies, I guess you are not coming to ask that question. After that, Weiji opens the box and sees a beautiful brand new dress. She thinks that maybe Auntie wants to be her stepmother. Then Lai Zebai asks her for any news on the programs. She replies, I met the program manager today. It's a reality show for a single artist. However, the producer is completely green. The only good thing is his strong background. No popular guests or topics, and so far only 2 cheap advertisers are interested. The producer emphasized that your fee will be low. After listening to that, he asks her how much. She replies, 2 million for 1 season. Isn't it a joke? Even though your situation is but at least. Then Lai Zebai says, I will take it. After listening to that, she gets shocked and says, hey Lai Zebai, you were the best actor. And you accept such a bad program with such a low fee. Lai says, I can't be picky in this situation. And there are also tuition fees for the children and daily expenses. After saying all that, Lai says that arrange a meeting with the producer. I need to talk to him about one more condition. If he agrees, I will sign the contract immediately. After listening to that, Zai says, any other things you want, I will get an agent. You don't have to fight for everything on your own. Lai says my daughter matters the most, so I need to talk in person. Then she asks him, are you taking your daughter to the show seriously? He replies, Gu Chengdan already knew I got a daughter. It's impossible to hide her from the spotlight. I should take the lead before Gu Chengdan throws mud at my daughter. After listening to that, Wai Zhai thinks that the one who set Baba up is Gu Chengdan. What happened between Baba and the Gu family? After the question comes to her mind, she thinks to ask her brothers. Then goes outside and asks her brother who is Gu Chengdan. Baba and Andy just talked about him and they looked unhappy. I'm worried. After listening to her, big brother replies that Gu Chengdan and dad have the same father. Do you get it? Then she asks, Baba is the illegitimate child of the Gu family, just like me and my brothers. Why does Baba hate that person? Then the second brother says, hey brother, are you explaining it to her? She doesn't understand. It will break his image if sister knows that dad is an illegitimate child. Don't tell her. After that, she again asks that Baba has a father. Then does he have a mother? Then the second brother shuts her mouth and says don't ask such questions anymore, especially to dad. Understand, that woman takes most of the heritage of the Gu family and set dad up. I hate her. Don't ask, I will pull your teeth if there are any more questions. Suddenly the doorbell rings and the third brother runs to open the door. In the thinking of that, the food delivery arrives. After that, he opens the door and sees that there is no food delivery, but three people standing at the gate. Suddenly big brother comes there and asks them what's the matter. Then the lady replies, our young master saw that you called food delivery, so we made a few dishes for you. Please take it. After listening to that, Wai Zhai thinks it's networking among neighbors, and they made their own food, and also thinks that the pretty boy is beautiful and kind. Then she says, hey, little brother, please come here, and hold his hand. While holding his hand, she thinks I feel nostalgic again towards him. I can feel his kindness even though he doesn't show it. And then she asks him, did we meet, little brother? He says maybe. Suddenly big brother pulls her back and asks the strange guy, what are you doing to my little sister? After that, Wai Zhai thinks it seems like brothers don't like the little brother. Then Lai Zebai comes there and asks what's wrong, and picks Wai Zhai up. Then big brother says that dude held my sister's hands. He said that he made some food for us and wanted to visit, and then he held sister's hands. Then Lai says to Wai Zhai that you are a girl and shouldn't hold a boy's hand easily, and asks her, do you understand? She replies yes. After that, Lai says that we don't need the food. After listening to that, the maidservant gets angry and says our young master treats you well, but you don't appreciate it. So mean. Then the strange guy stops her and says I understand that you don't need food, but those takeaways aren't healthy. And then he says to put the food there and goes away. After that, Lai Zebai thinks that impolite dude, anyways I need to give healthy food to my daughter, and also thinks that the most reliable thing I did in the kitchen is rubbing salts into others' wounds when it comes to cooking. Then she says, Baba, it looks delicious. After that, he says to pick up the food. Then they open the boxes and Wai Zhai thinks such a great meal, thanks to the little brother. After seeing the food, the big brothers say for sure that dude is targeting our little sister. See those meals and money. And the second brother says no, I can't stand it. After eating all the food, Wai Zhai burps, and Lai cleans her mouth. Then the big brother says that we will return the boxes to the neighbor. And then the big and second brother both goes to the neighbor's house and rings their doorbell. After that, the strange guy comes there and asks them what's the matter, and says that just to make it clear, I won't take back the money I paid. Don't worry, I just like your sister and won't harm her. No matter how much I like your sister, she won't be my real sister. What you are worrying about is not necessary, and you can't stop me from liking anyone. The money and your sister are separate matters. Anything wrong? The second brother replies no. Then the big brother says, I got a question. You don't really need our protection. As our neighbor, you can always come to my sister. However, you spend a lot of money on the protection. It's weird, isn't it? Then he replies and says everyone knows your father goes bankrupt, and ask them any other questions. Big brother replies no. After that, the strange guy goes back and says, all right, let me know what your sister wants to have tomorrow. Just drop me a memo. After that, the second brother asks, hey, are you really 8 years old? Then he replies, am I too old for you? I am just 5 years older than Wai Zhai. Is that old? Then the second brother says, you are just too young. After that, he leaves and says, right, too young. At least I can stay at Wai Zhai's side when she's growing up. Wai Zhai was using the tablet. While using it, she thinks that Xinghai Entertainment is Gu's family business. No wonder Baba is difficult. Suddenly her brothers come there. She says it's scary. Why don't you knock on the door? Brothers, you should knock on the door. I am a girl. After listening to that, big brother says sorry, I am wrong, and asks her, will you hate big brother? She replies, no, I like big brother. After that, second brother asks her, how about your younger brothers? Whom do you like the most? Think it seriously. Then she thinks, why are they so naive and feel insecure? And replies to them that I love all 3 brothers. Baba said we are a family and can't lose anyone, so I love all of you. After listening to that, big brother says sister is smart. It's true. Then the second brother says, little one, you are honey-tongued, and asks her, what do you want to eat tomorrow morning? After listening to that, she thinks, suddenly changing the topic, and replies, I want to eat egg noodles, with big eggs, many shrimps, and veggies. The next day morning she wakes up. She thinks to go outside the room, But suddenly the third brother comes there and stops her and says, "You can't go right now, sister." She says okay. After listening, that third brother asks her, "Why don't you ask me why not?" Then she thinks I am not a real 3-year-old. I can guess it when my second brother asked what to have for breakfast weirdly. And then she replies to him that I should listen to my brothers. Then he says her, "You are so good." 5 minutes later, the second brother calls her that sister. Come, breakfast is ready. Then she runs down and sees that the brother next door is sitting there. And she sees 2 dishes on the table. One dish was made by her second brother and one was brought by the neighbor. Then the second brother asks her, "Which one do you want? Tell me now. You said that you love your brothers yesterday." After listening to that, she gets into thinking that why do I need to make such a decision? Second brother, so I can only choose either family or delicious food. What will gonna happen next? Whom food will she gonna choose? His brother's food which he made for her with love, or delicious food that the neighbor brought for her? To find out, do like, comment, and subscribe.